Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass went on CNN to downplay a 4-day riot that's been tearing apart her city. And she made statements so bizarre, so detached from reality, that even the CNN hosts, yes, CNN hosts, were left in shock. One clip after another, this interview just got more and more unbelievable. The most stunning moment? When Mayor Bass actually said that federal law doesn't apply in Los Angeles.
Well, I just have to say that if you dial back time and go to Friday, if immigration raids had not happened here, we would not have the disorder that went on last night. I will tell you that it is peaceful now, but we do not know where and when the next raids will be. That is the concern, because people in the city have a rapid response network. If they see ICE, they go out and they protest. And so it's just a recipe for pandemonium that is completely unnecessary. Nothing was happening here. Los Angeles was peaceful before Friday.
Yes, you heard that right. The mayor of one of America's largest cities claimed that federal law doesn't count in her jurisdiction, and she said it with a straight face. No laugh, no correction, just a bold, wild statement on national television. This video you're about to watch is composed entirely from one single CNN interview with Mayor Karen Bass. Nothing spliced together from different sources, no out-of-context editing, just one interview. And by the end of it, you'll not only understand exactly how this riot started, but how the city let it happen, and why this is not going to stop unless something drastic changes, and that change might just have to come from Donald Trump. Let's break this down. From the very start, Bass didn't look like someone ready to address a city on fire. She looked defensive, almost annoyed that she had to even talk about it. When asked about the 4 days of chaos, looting, arson, beatings in the street, her first reaction wasn't concern for the victims, but frustration that people were misunderstanding the movement. She actually said, "This isn't a riot. It's a form of expressive assembly."
Share the CBS poll. It shows 54% of Americans approve of the Trump administration's program to deport illegal immigrants. A minority, 46%, disapprove. Are Democrats out of touch on this issue?
Well, I think if you did the polling in Los Angeles, I'm not sure it would be that way, considering we are a city of immigrants. And then people might approve that policy, but do people really approve the federal government coming in and seizing power from a state and from a city? So I drill down a little further on that poll, because I do not believe that Americans support the federal intervention in a city takeover or a state takeover.
4 days of burning buildings and emergency curfews is just expression now? But that was just the beginning. At one point, Bass insisted the federal government had no jurisdiction over what's happening in LA. When the host asked for clarification, she doubled down. Los Angeles has its own protocols and laws, and we don't need interference from a federal administration that doesn't understand our community.
Given the point where it has escalated to, do you think the National Guard is needed now?
No, I don't think the National Guard is needed now. Things in LA are calm. I will tell you that I'm saddened by the extent of the vandalism in the form of graffiti all through the downtown area. But it is important for people to know that even in downtown, this is isolated to a few streets.
She just kept pushing the same idea, as if somehow she has the power to nullify federal law just by disagreeing with it. Then came the part that really took this interview into strange territory. Bass claimed the riot wouldn't have happened if the Trump administration had given her the legal flexibility to implement community-based de-escalation teams. What does that even mean? She wanted to break the law legally? That's not a real thing. She's basically admitting she wanted to skirt established laws and now blames Trump for not letting her do that.
Back to what we just heard from the LAPD chief. You said that you're totally in sync with the police chief. He is saying that he's overwhelmed, that his forces are overwhelmed. What more do you need to hear from him to bring in more resources, to bring him the support that he is saying he needs?
Well, what I was saying is that the support he has called on, and he has received that support from the sheriff's department and from other police departments. And so I do not believe that he was describing a situation where we cannot bring it under control here. I think you should talk to him a little bit further. But what we are seeing, for example, there's nothing happening on our streets now. On Saturday, when this decision was being contemplated, there was nothing happening on our streets. As I mentioned, that evening, there was a protest that got out of hand. It was a protest of 100 people. None of that warrants federal intervention, and that's my point.
Right, but you also acknowledge that you don't know if there's going to be other immigration raids in the city.
Right.
So, I mean, that raises the question, what are you doing to prepare for that potential scenario? There could be more violence.
Think about that logic. The city is in chaos, businesses destroyed, people injured, and her argument is, well, it's Trump's fault for not letting her bend the rules. That's like a firefighter blaming the building owner for not letting them use gasoline to put out the fire. The CNN hosts looked like they didn't know whether to push back or just move on. There was a long, awkward silence after she mentioned federal law doesn't apply here. One of them nervously laughed, probably thinking she was joking. But when Bass just kept going, repeating herself with this calm, robotic tone, it became clear she actually believes this stuff. And here's the part no one wants to admit. This riot happened because officials let it happen. The footage shows police standing down. We have confirmation that the National Guard was ready but was told to wait. Curfews were announced but not enforced. Why? Because leadership in LA has been so obsessed with optics, with not looking too aggressive, that they've effectively given a green light to chaos, and they're still defending it. This is why it's going to continue. Not because people are angry, but because people in charge have shown there are no consequences. And unless someone outside the city steps in, yes, that probably means Donald Trump, this will be the new normal. Cities burning while mayors go on TV and say federal law doesn't apply to them. So let me be clear. This isn't about left or right anymore. This is about reality versus delusion. And in that CNN interview, Karen Bass didn't just cross the line. She erased it. And when you erase the line between law and chaos, this is what you get. This video isn't about stirring outrage for the sake of it. It's about telling the truth, even when it's hard to believe. Because right now the people in Los Angeles aren't just fighting rioters. They're up against leadership that thinks LA is its own little country, immune from federal law and basic accountability. So if you're as stunned as we are, do not stay silent. Like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and share it because people need to see what's really going on. This is the type of madness that only ends when enough people stand up and say enough is enough. Thanks for watching. Be safe, stay informed, and we'll see you in the next one.